Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to two of the biggest stars and two of my favourite people too. Larry and George Lamb are the father-son duo who took over TV and have careers in their own right. And they like to save money too. Generation X and of course the millennials love to call us boomers, don't they, and take the mick. But we'll have none of that. Talking to Larry and George today about this new nationwide appeal to save your money and how to do it. How are you guys?
Still saving.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I just went to see this show, Dear Evan Hansen, and I didn't like it very much, and everybody under the comments of the review put, "Okay, boomer." I'd never heard of this thing. When did this become a saying?
I don't know. I'm Generation Z now, so I'm like I've gone beyond everything. I'm on my way to the happy hunting grounds, I think, where I just sit in a corner and go zzz, I'm Z. I'm still trying to save something. Just trying to get a job so I can save something after all the jobs I've had and didn't save something.
It's tough, isn't it? But I mean, what a career you've had and what a life too. I mean, George, it was inevitable you were going to follow in your father's footsteps, really, wasn't it? Because, I mean, what a life.
Well, kind of to the contrary, actually. It was around the time when I was starting to make decisions about my life. Dad was having a period, as all actors do, where it was pretty rough, and he couldn't get arrested, and so the prospect of going to work in show business just didn't seem very alluring, and so I ended up working in the music industry first for the first kind of 5 years, and then gradually migrated my way across, and I've ended up in the same thing. But it's I suppose, and obviously what we're here to talk about today is this thing about payday, save day, and getting back into a culture of putting a little bit aside for the rainy days, and growing up whilst obviously there were many upsides of having a dad who was an actor, and it was fun and it was exotic and all the rest of it. The whole boom bust thing is it's a little bit unsettling.
Very unsettling. I mean, when I was a kid, I always had lots of little part-time jobs, and anything I wanted, I saved up and bought it. And then I started to be an actor, and I never knew what I was going to be earning. And the whole pattern of savings just went away, because all you were doing was surviving then, and you certainly didn't know from one week to another how much you were going to earn. But unfortunately, it's all been superseded now, and everybody's spending before they've got it.
I do wonder what this generation, millennials are people my age, I'm 40, and we started working about the 2000s, and Gen X are the ones under them, aren't they? And we've been brought up that we can have whatever we want as soon as we want, and it doesn't matter how we get it, just stick it on a card and worry about it later. It's so worrying, isn't it, as a generation of people who just don't care.
And kids just don't understand. Kids will spend money with no comprehension of really what it's all about, and they can't go as it was. When I was a kid, you could always get a job. You could be a paper boy, you could work for the butcher, you could do, like delivering milk. You could always earn some money. But with all the rules and regulations now, it's nigh on impossible. So there's no way to get the sense of the value of a dollar, I mean, it's a great thing Nationwide are doing. I don't know how they change, though, the ethos of an entire generation and the generation beneath them who are even more entitled. And there is an entitlement, isn't there, that we all think we deserve a 4-bedroom detached house and a nice BMW to drive when we're 21 years old. You go, no, actually, my dad had to work 40 years to get to that point. Tell me about it. It was a long, long haul getting started. And there certainly was no, bank of mum and dad to go and run and draw money from. That's for sure. They were busy sort of like scraping it together themselves. It's like the whole thing over the course of 2 generations has completely changed. I mean, and the fact that all these youngsters really just do not get it as far as money, big shocks. This to me is a bit of a call to say, look, just have a think about this and stick a few pounds, no matter how little, just stick a few pounds away each month when you get your thing, and deal with that as that's a bill to you.
You can find out more by going on the Nationwide website. Let's talk about you two and your relationship. It's the dream father-son relationship from my perspective, to find two people who just like being in the same room. The fact their family is convenient. How lovely is that for you two to get to do TV programs and get a life together?
Well, I mean, for me, it's just one of the hugest treats. And to think that George was trying to make his way into another world makes me appreciate it even more, because we can do what lots, in different trades, They still do, I suppose. Lots of trades, fathers and sons worked together, and it really, for me, it's such a joy because I can hand over control to him now. You know, he's pushing 40, and I can just say, right, you know, like the deal is, mate, you're in charge. You're the dad. I'm taking it easy now.
Any chance of more programmes together? Because we love seeing them.
Yeah, let's hope so. Definitely. You know, we did 10 of our bike trips going around the country, which was just beautiful, and really made both of us fall in love with Britain in a way that we didn't know was possible. And so yeah, you know, we're hopefully next year we'll get out there and start doing some stuff again.
Do you know what was magical about that series is on a bike everything's much slower than doing it on any other form of transport, like a train. I mean, I love taking that East Coast line to Edinburgh, but you're going so fast you miss so much, whereas on a bike it's the opposite. You see every detail, don't you?
And you can stop. That's the great thing. You can just stop dead and get off and have a walk around and have a look. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I mean, and we went to the most extraordinary places. Just wonderful.
Beautiful. And then talk to me about what it's like to be delicious, George. Of course, I'm a deeply unattractive man. You've got the ladies who think you're absolutely fabulous. What kind of life is that? I mean, if I could just be you for 5 minutes.
It's joyous, mate. It's joyous. It's I don't know, whatever, you know, like
he's far too modest. The problem is that there's all these women, you know, I used to fancy myself, but I tell you, you should see them around him. It's just this. Like you just think, oh no, I'm a little gnome in the corner of the garden, mate, with that one.
I've never been more depressed in my life, Larry, to be honest. It's just underscoring all of my weaknesses. And of course, I've got to talk to you, Larry, about this Christmas. A friend of mine went to see the preview of Gavin and Stacey this Christmas at the BBC thing the other week and said it was the best episode he'd ever seen, the funniest, the most crafted. I mean, it's had enough time to get it right.
Without doubt. It's like they took a fine wine, put it away in the cellar for 10 years and it's come out even better. I mean, it's so easy to talk about these things in super positive way. It's not the way I work. But to see that, I was just so thrilled. And to hear all those people from the press laughing and laughing and laughing. It was like a fan gathering, you know, not the toughest audience there is to play. It's clear that it is, for me, there's no doubt about it, it is the best ever. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? When you've got great affection for something, bringing it back is the biggest risk. And I know they said in the beginning it wasn't quite right, but when you get it right, the fact that we're all going to be sat there on Christmas Day watching you, how do you sort of cope with that mentally? Do you sort of even think about the success and enormity of it? Because it's the old days of sort of Morecambe and Wise, isn't it, with this? Yeah, I think the thing... It was at the beginning, you know, you begin to realise, oh, God, we're going to get involved in doing this again, and that's going to be a bit of a worry, and everybody has a kind of a flutter of nerves. But once you've read the script, you think, yep, it's solid, it's sound, it works, and then finally you're sitting in that theatre and you're watching, and you think, okay, well, it all paid off. It is wonderful. Incredible. Can you give us any sort of titillation about what we might get? Is there anything you can tell us? I know a lot of it's embargoed. No, I can't. You know, the thing, look, the way I look at it, to me, it's like you were out driving somewhere through a neighbourhood where you lived 10 years ago and you decide to go and drop in and just see who's home. And you're welcomed through the door and there they all are. It's 10 years on, the story's gone on, and over the course of the afternoon, the next day or whatever, you just find out where everybody is. And it's not all highlighted for you. You just find out, and it's just like life picks up after 10 years. And what about the relief of the phone ringing and them asking you back? Because they could have written you out and said, no, he was a pain in the arse, we don't want him back on the programme. You must have been thrilled. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just about to make some really mundane phone call one afternoon, and as I had the phone in my hand, it rang, and I'm looking at a number, and I thought, and it's in Los Angeles. I don't know anybody that's in Los Angeles at the moment. And I answered it. It was James. And after about 10 minutes of talking, I said, well, you haven't just phoned me to say hello, have you? He said, no. And so then the story began to unravel. And so you think, wow, 10 years, here we go. Amazing. Congratulations on everything. We can't wait to see it. Find out more about saving your money at Nationwide. And Larry and George, thank you so much for your time. It's a thrill. All the best. Thank you very much, boss. Thank you.